Good evening, friends. We start today another class. Infrared cameras measure the radiosity that is observed by the detector in an infrared camera. The radiosity observed by the detector in the camera, inside the camera, that is the measurement. If the emissivity you taken less, more, so if it is proper, it will come proper. You have to find out before you go for more readings. The camera has an IFOV. This is not your question, so I'm not going to that. The slit response function is used to measure IFOV measurement. Get what is the most important factor when inspecting electrical equipment using IR? Safety. So when you are inspecting electrical equipment, most hazardous thing, flash hazard and all. The plant's main switch gear is to be inspected. The main switch gear has a new aluminum bus bar, so emissivity, the new aluminum bus bar is 0.1, something like that. Too much reflection. What weather conditions are necessary for conducting thermal infrared roof inspection? It must not have rained within the last 24 hours. Inspect after sundown following a clear sunny day. How should a level and span be set when inspecting overhead electrical bus? Set the span very narrow and adjust the level to temperature of the bus. This is not your question, so no problem, not worry. A thermal infrared inspection of a building is conducted to determine the presence of insulation. What is the recommended minimum temperature difference between inside and outside? 10 degrees centigrade. An object that is not at thermal equilibrium with its surrounding environment is said to be thermally transient. If the amount of insulation in an attic is increased from 10 to 20, the heat transfer will reduce by half. Temperature difference from inside house to outside house decreased 36 to 9 degrees centigrade. And this may be, you can shift this. No, let us delete this. Heat transfer will be reduced by 4. When a thermal imaging radiometer is out of calibration and reading temperature incorrectly, what can be done? Send the camera back to the manufacturer or the relevant body for recalibration. The effect of sun can prevent the accurate inspection of light frame building. Light frame buildings, like something like aluminum or steel structures. Accordance with ASTM C1060, how long should the wall of light frame construction be free from direct solar radiation? So free from direct solar radiation 3 hours, then you can take the temperature. Otherwise it will give wrong readings. A kilogram of each of the following material is heated 90 degrees centigrade. Which of the following material has the most stored thermal energy? Water. Latent heat of energy can be described as energy that creates or breaks the molecular bonds of the phase state of the material. Phase state means solid to liquid, liquid to. 1 minute. So latent heat is like from solid state to liquid state, liquid state to vapor state. There is a latent heat. Each of the following surfaces generally provide the most accurate radiometric temperature measurement. Water-based paint. The instantaneous field of view measurement of a radio system is 1 point. The accuracy of liquid level gauge. This in an oil tank being questioned. Verification of the liquid level is critical, but the safety manager is not available to issue a confine entry permit to physically verify the level. It is springtime. Last night was cool. It is now noon and a bright sunny day. What might you consider to determine the oil level? Examine the tank with your infrared camera. The air should be warmer than the liquid and should provide a clear indication of the liquid level. So the tank without liquid will be hotter than the tank with liquid. That's all. You can see the level. How hot does the electrical connection need to be for the to be classified as serious problem? Depends on the criticality of equipment and continued safe operation. Most imaging infrared radiometer operate in 3 to 5 or 8 to 12 micrometer band. This is because atmospheric absorption within these two bands is small enough to provide minimal impact on radiometry. After heating one side of a honeycomb composite with a 4-ply graphite epoxy face the thermally viewing from the same side, you notice a dark or cool indication that seems to be confined to a group of honeycomb cells. What is the probable cause? There is most likely water or some other liquid in the cells. Long wave 8 to 14 micrometer infrared thermography is an excellent tool for inspecting all except thin film plastic. That is go for short wave. From the ground, you see a hotspot on bolted corner connector of a transmission line that is approximately 27.4 meter away. When you go to the measure the temperature, it reads much lower than you think it should be. In fact, it appears to be below ambient. What is the probable reason? You are too far away to accurately measure. While doing an IR inspection of a heated stainless steel component with several surface holes, you notice that one of the holes appear hotter than the other. What could explain this? The hotter hole probably is deeper than the other holes. Thin film plastics such as polyethylene and thermally different from most material because they are lightly transmissive or both lit mid-air along with thermal radiation. This is not for you, so no problem. Why is infrared thermal imaging often used by building analysis to locate mold growth? Mold growth grows on the damp surface, which appear cooler due to evaporating cooling. To measure the temperature of heater tubes in a natural gas-fired furnace using mid-wave sensing system, you must add the correct filter. You have to find a motor bearing that is 32 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the normal. Convert this temperature difference. Is a direct Fahrenheit to, if in the scale, you can directly take the difference to 17.7, or if you do it directly Celsius, that is 0. So like 1.32 divided by 1.8. Which of the following material has the highest thermal capacitance? Water. Which of the following vectors will have the greatest effect on accuracy of temperature measurement of a loose connection in a copper alloy bolted plate connection? Assume the copper has an emissivity of 0.828. Adjusting the background temperature from this to this. Actual temperature 28.3. So there is background temperature you have to perfectly adjust. Which of the following typically has the greatest influence on taking a radiometric temperature measurement on a low emissivity object? Background temperature. Which of the following camera setting has greatest impact? No problem for this. Emissivity set this. No. Which of the following list gives the correct order for thermal capacitance of the material? Assume list goes from highest to lowest. Water, steel, air. While conducting a roof moisture inspection at night after sunny day, why it is important for the roof surface to be dry? It is better to have wet roof surface so you can find the leak easier. IR system being used to image videotape. Back in the office, you find you like to adjust the level and span of the image. How did this accomplish? Data captured in the videotape will not allow adjustment. Which of the following materials emits quite differently in the mid-wave band than in the long wave? So plate, glass plate. Transmit only 3.5 to 5 microns. The easiest and cheapest way to improve the spatial resolution of a thermal image is to move the camera to closer to the target as possible without compromising the safety. No, diaphragm, won't go for that. Atmospheric attenuation for imaging systems since 812 microns thermal radiation is less than attenuation for 3 to 5 micron radiation. When looking at thermal image, the thermographer is viewing radiance combined reflected, transmitted, emitted energy patterns from the surface of the target. The energy content of a gram of steam at 100 degrees centigrade is more higher than the gram of water 100 degrees centigrade because of latent heat of vaporization. The heat capacity of object is directly proportional to material specific heat and density. As the surface cools, the peak of its radial infrared energy shifts to longer wavelength. Surface hot, shift to cool, s- shorter wavelength. What component of Earth's atmosphere will completely or partially absorb infrared electromagnetic energy in the waveband of 6 to 8? Water vapor. If water vapor, it will just completely absorb or partially absorb. The spectral band in which glass transmit infrared radiation most efficiently is 2 to 4 micrometer region. When water freezes, heat energy is released to the surrounding. That's why latent heat is released, so water freezes to ice. When it evaporates, it takes energy from the surrounding, absorb that time. Here release. Don't make it reverse. Because here releasing so that it is decreasing the latent heat, so it becomes water, then ice, water to ice. Since wind will conveniently convectively cool building components, reducing thermal difference, it is not advisable to perform building inspection on the windward side when air speed is excess of 24 km per hour. Which of the following statement regarding infrared emission absorption is false? False is good reflector or good emitters. Good emitters are good observers. Poor observers are poor emitters. Poor reflectors are good observers. So these three are correct. Radiosity is defined as the total radiant excitant existence leaving a surface. Reflectance, emittance, and transmittance. English only. Distribution of energy over wavelength spectrum for a given temperature is best described by which of the following? Planck's law. Energy in the unit called joule. Energy is measured joule. What is the correct value of Stephen Boltzmann constant? 5.67 10 to the power minus 8. Sorry, watt per meter square, k to the power 4. This is watt. Sorry, I am telling something else. Sorry for that. Wien's displacement law for determining peak wavelength. 2897 by t to the power 4. No, sorry, tk. Sorry, 2897 divided by tk. Tk is t Kelvin. That's all. A good material for making lens for an infrared imager is germanium. Of the following contact temperature sensor, which is considered to be the most accurate sensor? Accurate sensor RTDs. When a radiant emission from a small opening in isothermal enclosure is examined, the spatial response is found to closely approximate that of black body. In material that has a flat spectral emissivity curve from 3 to 12, considered as a gray body. Thank you, gentlemen.